Hello, this is Melissa, your insurance exam queen, and we are here on this channel to help you pass your exam with ease and confidence. We're going to go over umbrella insurance today. Before we dive into that lesson, I would like to ask you to please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Really helps me out as a YouTube creator. Like the video if it has helped you understand, and you can also drop a comment below about what state you're in and what test you are taking, whether it's personal lines or property casualty, and then what state you're in, and I'll tell you what's important. And I will also direct you to my website, Insurance Exam Queen, that has paid for and free resources that you can use to help you with your exam. YouTube is kind of like the little snack, and if you want the full meal, you get that with my Insurance Exam Queen Royal Treatment class series, bronze, silver, and gold, with gold being the absolute best. It also comes with student notes and practice questions. And again, that is all available on insuranceexamqueen.com. But let's go ahead and jump into umbrella insurance. So let's talk a little bit first about home and auto, because those are important. So typically a person is going to have, homeowners insurance, and then they're going to have car insurance. Now, these two policies are limited. There's only so much coverage you can get on these policies before they max out of coverage. But there are situations where you may need more coverage than what your home or auto offers. So let's say that you even, got the best coverage you can get on your auto insurance, and you decided to get $300,000 per person, $500,000 per accident for bodily injury. And what that means is if you were to crash into someone and cause them harm in a car accident, you would have $300,000 per person to pay out to them to pay for their medical bills. And let's say you even chose $300,000 on your homeowners, so that if your dog bites someone or your kid injures someone or whatever, something happens, that's your fault and you owe them money, you have $300,000 of liability on your homeowners. So let's say one day that something super crazy happens. And by the way, live in this, remember, your homeowners covers your dog. That's supposed to be a dog. Woof. It's a very fat dog, but your homeowners covers your dogs. Let's say one day that you have the wildest thing happen. Your sweet, amazing dog went absolutely crazy and attacked a person. And this person is now disfigured on their face. And they are suing you not only for their medical bills, but they are suing you for pain and suffering. They're suing you for their therapy. They're suing you for as much money as they could possibly get because your dog came after them, okay? And let's say that they're suing you for $600,000. Now, your homeowners will cover $300,000 of those injuries. So you're still looking at another $300,000 that you owe them. Or let's say that you had a car accident where you left a person paralyzed, and they're going to need way more than $300,000. If they're now paralyzed for the rest of their life, they need to change everything about they now need a wheelchair. They might need help and services around the house. They might lose their job. So many different things can happen when a person becomes paralyzed after a car accident. And they can also sue you for pain and suffering, mental anguish. And so $300,000 on your auto might not be enough. So in these crazy situations where your dog may attack someone and cause a lot of harm, you are in a crazy car accident where you really cause a lot of damage to another person, what do we have to protect us if our home and auto is not enough? And the answer is that you can get an umbrella policy that rides on top of your home and auto to protect you. And your umbrella policy at a minimum is going to come in at $1 million. So in these instances, when you have the $600,000 claim, your homeowners or auto will pay $3 million because that's the limit you have. You still have $300,000. You would just go to the umbrella insurance and they would pay the rest and you'd be done. And it would all be taken care of with the umbrella insurance. And that's why it's an umbrella, because these situations are like, rainy day, the rainy day fund, it's trying to protect you from the crazy random catastrophic instances where a person is now paralyzed after you crashed into them and your dog went berserk and totally attacked someone and caused a lot of harm. Imagine if a dog went after a small child. The dog may not, because the child is so small, the damage may be extensive. And there's even a story where a dog ripped the cheek off of a toddler. This was a dog, and everyone's like, the dog is so sweet, the dog is so amazing. But one day the toddler was irritating them. The dog ripped the entire cheek off, and she had to have this crazy surgery. Her parents, sued the dog owners. They had to miss work, so they were suing for their missed time. They were stuck at the hospital a lot. They had to undergo multiple surgeries. They had to take her to therapy. Lots of pain and suffering, mental anguish. So it's these catastrophic situations that happen, and we need to have some level of protection for them. And that's where the umbrella insurance comes in. Now, some key things that we want to remember about umbrella insurance is that umbrella is known as secondary and excess. It is secondary because homeowners should pay first, which means homeowners is known as primary, and it's known as, secondary, primary, underlying. I was like, there's another word for it, underlying. So homeowners is supposed to pay first. So your dog bites someone, your homeowners pays first, you go to the umbrella for everything that's left. That's why homeowners is called primary and also under, because it is under the umbrella. It pays first for the dog bite, then you go to the umbrella for the rest, which is second. You go to umbrella second, and it provides excess coverage on top of what the homeowners provided. Okay. So, and home and auto are both known as primary and underlying. Umbrella is known as secondary and excess. Okay. Now, there are technically two different levels of umbrella policies. So again, we're going to draw our home and our auto. Our home and our auto. You can have two different policies. You can have umbrella and you can have excess lines. Now, everything I said about everything so far is true for both. I'm going to now tell you the differences between the two. An excess line is also called a follow form. And the reason it's called a follow form is because the excess follows the form of a homeowner's. A policy is actually called a form before someone buys it. It only becomes a policy when someone's name is put on it. But before it's purchased, it's actually called a form. So you have a homeowner's form. It is same thing as saying homeowner's policy. It's like tomato, really, ultimately. So excess lines is called follow form because it follows exactly what the homeowners covers and follows exactly what the auto covers. A umbrella, on the other hand, is called standalone because it does cover what the home and auto cover, but it can also cover things outside of home and auto. And the two most common examples would be personal injury, which is known as libel and slander. This is libel and slander are not covered on your homeowners. Your homeowners doesn't have libel and slander coverage. Libel and slander coverage is known as personal injury. This is when you hurt a person's character or reputation. So if you know somebody on Facebook, and maybe let's say they're running a business on Facebook, and you come onto their page and you start saying you this and you that, and you're so horrible and you mistreat your people and blah, 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 and it causes them to lose business, they could sue you for libel and slander, and you would have no protection under your homeowners. But the umbrella does actually cover libel and slander. It can stand alone. So the excess lines will only cover exactly what the home does. The umbrella will cover what the home, auto, and it has extra stuff that it covers. Another thing is the umbrella could cover you overseas. Your homeowner's liability doesn't follow you overseas. But like if you had your dog and you went to the park and your dog bit somebody, you would be covered in the US. But if you took your dog overseas, you go to a whole other country with your dog and your dog bites somebody, your homeowners won't follow you. But the umbrella could. It can stand alone. Now, one big thing that we want to know about this standalone situation is if you were to file a homeowner's claim, okay, so let's say the dog bit somebody and your homeowners pays out $300,000, and then you go to the umbrella for the rest, again, it was like a $6,000 claim. Your homeowners will pay $300,000. You go to the umbrella for the rest of the money. In this instance, there is no deductible needed, no deductible to access the umbrella. Technically, the umbrella policy will see this $300,000 as like a deductible. But what happens when it's a standalone policy and there's no deductible being paid? They will make you pay a deductible for standalone stuff. So the umbrella has a deductible for standalone coverage situations, standalone situations, and it's known as an SIR, self-insured retention. Self-insured retention, SIR. So when the umbrella policy is covering something related to home and auto, no deductible is needed. When the umbrella is covering something related to home and auto pay first, the umbrella will just kick in and pay, no problem. When the umbrella is covering something that the home and auto doesn't cover, it will require a deductible called an SIR, a self-insured retention. And so you want to remember the name of the deductible is a SIR, self-insured retention. You may get a question that says, what is the deductible on an umbrella? And the answer could be SIR. They might not even spell it out. So you have to remember SIR and self-insured retention. You could have a question that says, what does SIR stand for? With the answer being self-insured retention. Okay, so that's the deductible that is required on an umbrella policy for standalone coverage. The excess lines follow form won't have a SIR because it never covers anything that the home and auto doesn't pay out for first. Okay. One last concept with the umbrella policy is in order to purchase an umbrella policy, your underlying policies are required to have certain minimums, required to carry minimum coverage. And I don't mean state minimums, I mean umbrella minimums. What I'm saying is when you go to buy an umbrella policy, the agent who is selling you the umbrella policy is going to ask for a copy of your home and auto. And they're going to make sure that you have at least $300,000 on your home and $300,000 per person on your auto. You don't need to remember that number for the state exam, but that is the number of what you need. In order to buy an umbrella, you have to carry higher limits of liability on your home and auto. And if you fail to carry those higher limits and you make a claim that your umbrella needs to pay, they will not pay the difference. Like if they say, if you have that $600,000 claim, they fully anticipate that your home and auto should pay out $300,000. They always assume, an umbrella policy always assumes that your home and auto should pay out $300,000. Now, whether it does or doesn't won't change how much the umbrella pays. They're always going to subtract the $300,000 and then they will pay what's left after that. But if you make a mistake, let's say that you accidentally change your liability limit to $600,000, technically you need $500,000 from the umbrella, but they will not pay that. They will still only pay the $300,000 because you're supposed to have carried $300,000. So the umbrella policy will never cover more than what they said they would cover if you carry the correct minimums. So you're supposed to carry pretty high coverage on your home and auto. And if you fail to cover that, the umbrella doesn't, they're not going to make up the difference. You have to make up the difference. So if you fail to carry the correct minimums on your homeowners, you would have to pay that money out of pocket because your homeowners won't cover it, nor will your umbrella. Your umbrella requires you to carry a certain minimum and they will not pay. They assume that when you file a claim, the homeowners has already paid that. And so they will not make up the difference. You would have to make up the difference. Okay. So this is umbrella policies and the things that you would want to know. Remember, you make sure umbrella is known as secondary and excess. Homeowners is known as primary and underlying. Umbrella allows you to stand alone, cover things like libel and slander with the SIR deductible. Excess lines is called follow form, no deductible needed. And an umbrella requires you to carry certain minimum limits. And if you don't, you have to pay that difference. The umbrella won't cover it for you. Okay. All right. So this is your insurance exam queen, sending you all the loves, all the vibes to pass your exam. Have an amazing day. And again, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check more out at insuranceexamqueen.com.